If you don't even understand how or what is stopping your hair from growing, what exactly is it that you're trying to fix? In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you how getting to the root cause of exactly what is stopping you from producing a new strand in your bald spot is your fastest path to growth. I'm going to give you the 3 common issues that are normally the culprits to you not having growth. And most of the time, the reason why you're not having the growth is because you're not catering to the issues that's going on. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet that can help you figure out what your issue is, help you start to troubleshoot it, get some immediate solutions to fix it. And you don't have to give me your email or anything. Just let me know that you want it and I'll send it to you. Hi, my name is Talitha Williams. I'm an Army veteran, a registered nurse, and the owner and founder of The Natural Hair Confidant. I am also known as a traction alopecia reversal expert. I have helped over 250 women reverse their severe traction alopecia who hadn't had any growth in over a decade. I have also helped 20 women who had receding hairlines all the way back to their ears successfully grow back a full head of hair in less than 6 months. And I accomplished that through sharing the knowledge and information you need in order to fix your no growth issue. Which is why in this video, I'm so excited to share this information with you. So the number one question people ask me when I meet new clients is, can I help them grow hair? And my response is always, do you know what caused your hair loss? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. That's the issue. You don't know what caused it. You don't know what's keeping it from growing. You don't understand why there's no growth. You don't understand why you're not producing a new strand. And then on top of that, if you don't understand why, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know how to fix it. You're basically playing a guessing game and you're playing Russian roulette with your follicles, which none of that is good. So there are normally only 3 main reasons why people are not having any growth. No matter what label they put on it, no matter what name, it all boils down to 3 main reasons. If you have hair loss and you got a bald spot that you haven't had any growth in greater than a couple of years, I guarantee you one of these 3 issues are going to be your problem. And if you focus on fixing that, then I promise you, within the next 30 to 45 days, you're going to be able to produce a new strand. Even if you haven't had any growth in 10 years. It's really simple. So the number one thing is trauma. Trauma to your hair follicle looks like the fact that you have really tight hairstyles, and one by one it's kind of pulling and tugging at it and causing trauma. It's getting yanked out of its socket. Okay, just like if you had your shoulder yanked out of place. It has a joint that it sits in and it's yanked out of your socket. Your follicle is the joint that your hair strand is yanked out of. And then the number one issue from that happens is once you start having yanking and pulling, you develop a condition called shock loss. Let's define shock loss real quick. Shock loss is defined as a widespread area of hair loss within a period of 3 to 6 months. It doesn't just fall out immediately. It gradually starts to fall out. It happens from trauma that happens to your hair follicle. It's reversible. It's normally going to grow back. But the problem and issue that most women have is when it started to happen, they didn't understand what was happening. They was putting all these extra products on it, which probably inflamed it even more. And they threw their hair in a wig. Putting on a wig suffocates your strands, and it also eats your keratin from the inside out, especially during these summer months. So when you have on a wig, your head sweats. Inside of sweat is a chemical called lactic acid. Lactic acid eats keratin, and it's going to break it down even further. So that's the number one issue, trauma. The number 2 issue, fungal and bacterial infections. So fungal and bacterial infections on the scalp will cause your hair follicles to be inflamed, which leads to a condition called folliculitis. This is why if you've ever seen somebody that was like, Vagisil grew my hair, it's because she had yeast on her scalp, and that was what was preventing it. And Monistat is for yeast. It's an antifungal. So it killed the yeast that was on her scalp. The yeast is what was preventing her new strands from growing. So then once she killed the yeast, she was able to grow strands, which is why if you tried that Monistat and it didn't work for you, it's probably because you didn't have a yeast infection on your scalp. And so it wasn't going to work. That's what the issue is. People are so desperate to grow back strands that they're basically trying anything and everything that somebody said that they work, instead of tailoring it specifically to them, their needs, and their problems. Which is why I am offering you my root cause analysis, so that you can begin to take the initial steps to try to figure out what is causing your hair loss, what kinds of things you got going on in your body that's preventing you from growing new strands. Because then when you figure out what the culprit is, you can fix it. You can't onesie twosie this. You can't finagle your way through it. You got to be active, and you got to be headstrong in trying to fix the underlying issue. Once you fix the underlying issue, I guarantee you're going to produce a new strand. And so that brings me to my third and final point. So the number 3 reason, no matter what condition it is, inflammation is preventing your hair from growing. If you're suffering from lupus, inflammation. What does that say? Yeah, it's inflammation. If you're suffering from, let's just run through a few common conditions, and let's just look at their definitions.
Okay, so let's start with the very first one, telogen effluvium. That's a fancy way of saying hair loss related to stress. What is it? Inflammation. Then we move on. Triple CA. I think that's one of the most common names out there. Inflammation. It leads to scarring. And then you got alopecia areata. That was recently made famous by Ayanna Presley last year in 2020. So it's also become more common known. But look at what it says. It's inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of all of these different titles. So once you fix the inflammation, the hair will grow. When you heal within, the outside of your scalp will never be without. You have to focus on getting to the root cause.
All of those are inflammation. All of them. And so if you have inflamed hair follicles, they're not going to be able to produce a new strand. You have to get rid of the inflammation in order to produce a new strand. And it's not something that you can do from the outside. You have to heal from within. That means that you need to change your diet. You need to have an anti-inflammatory diet, because if they're always inflamed, they are always swollen. And when it's inflamed, it needs to heal, so it goes dormant. It's not going to produce a new strand. And so then that leads to the major issue out of all of these. Once your body has some type of infection that you're not controlling, once your body has some type of trauma that you're not allowing to heal, and once your body has some type of inflammation, all of those hair follicles are going to go dormant. So then after you figure out what your culprit is, now it's time to wake up those dormant hair follicles so that they can start getting increased blood circulation, so that they can produce a new strand, increase nutrition, because you can't produce a new strand without getting vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D. So like I said, if you want my root cause analysis, just let me know. Say that you want it down below. I'll send it directly to your inbox. You don't have to give me your email or anything. And it's basically an internal look and an external look of things that could be preventing you from growing your hair, so that you can have a starting point of what to do and how to fix it. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you know somebody that could find this video helpful, make sure you share it. And if you want to get the root cause analysis, make sure you let me know